It's such an honour to be here, and I'd just like to say that when I'm not playing Xbox with my mate Thor, I really like to listen to my favourite podcast, Pop Culture Pasta. Hey Dave, I'm thinking about doing another revolution. Do you want to join up? I might need some help with organising the pamphlets though.
Pop Culture Pastor.
You know, we have been actually doing the multiverse stuff for just as long as Marvel has. We have our own multiverse here at Pop Culture Pastor. We have Cody, our friend Cody, Pastor Cody. And we have Contrarian Cody, a Cody variant, if you will, who just likes to argue. Then there's Capitalist Cody. I'm pretty sure we may have spotted Communist Cody at one point, but I can't remember how that came up.
There's Cardigan Cody.
Why did they all start with C?
Alliteration is a thing.
I feel like there's others. Have there been others?
There's been others, but
I like Cynical Cody.
Cynical Cody, yes.
I don't know if we have time to go into the full Codyverse.
I feel like you're going to hear from Cody and about 4 of his variants all on this episode.
Potentially.
Because
Compassionate Cody might even make an appearance.
We have all the thoughts on this episode. This is Pop Culture Pastor, the podcast. I'm Dave. Cody's here.
I am.
We are joined by Geek of the Roundtable, DJ Dangerfield, who's here as well. Hello, DJ.
Hello.
And this is an all Marvel episode. This is for you Marvel geeks. This is a momentous occasion, and you're getting all the Marvel because we're going to start off with the news here, and it's all Marvel.
It is.
Because they made all the noise this past weekend at San Diego Comic-Con. Hall H, they put on quite the show. Although, for the longest time, man, I didn't think they had it in them. Because I was watching it. I was actually watching my Twitter feed. I was refreshing. And, you know, there's always the people that are there and they're posting and you're trying to follow with what's going on. And after about half an hour, I thought, man, Marvel, are they really not going to have any big announcements? Well, they did. That changed pretty quickly. So let's just start at the beginning because I figured we'd start just this little intro here in the news talking about, because this will lead into our discussion about Deadpool and Wolverine, which is what this episode is mostly about, our review of that movie. But a lot of this is pertinent. So let's start with the boring announcements first. Captain America Brave New World. Does this look good to you?
I'm interested.
I will watch. I'm not super necessarily thrilled with there being a Hulk or potentially multiple Hulks, because that's a rumor. Just because I don't think we have mastered the Hulk
as a character.
Yeah. And so I'm a little leery of that, but I think that Anthony Mackie will do great.
Yeah, you're an Anthony Mackie fan.
So something that I have decided to do is like some people do with the news. Like, I'm not allowing myself to overly engage in information about the movie before the movie. I stopped doing that. It has taken a lot of joy from me. So I saw the preview, and that's all I'm going to look at. I don't have any opinions going into it.
Oh, you're in the wrong place.
No. You go ahead. I'm going to listen to you guys.
Now I'm going to be nervous on spoiling something.
No. Don't misunderstand. So I won't be contributing as much as my mouth normally runs. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm doing fantastic, but I'm just going to listen because I'm purposely, for the most part, by and large, staying away from that because I want to try to go back to my childhood. I feel like it's taken away from entertainment for me. I want to go back to where I'm not just a consumer. I actually enjoy it. And I've just been watching stuff. I found myself just watching stuff as a critic, and I'm missing out on the joy. So now I totally am just going back to joyful DJ in Marvel Universe.
That's very helpful.
Because I left a couple movies ago homicidal. It was like I was going to go commit some bad acts. This is not good. It's just a movie, DJ.
So I am doing that with the DCU stuff.
That's good.
Okay,
Because,
there you go.
yeah, because that's where Cody's heart is.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
where my heart is. I also tried to avoid as many spoilers about Deadpool and Wolverine as possible.
I did too.
And there was one thing that had been rumored forever and a day, and it kept coming up on my news feed. So I was looking for it, and it wasn't there. And that kind of dampened some expectations, or like what my final score might be for the movie.
I actually think
I
for
agree.
the kind of movie Deadpool Wolverine was, and we'll get into this, that was actually a really good way to go into it. If you were distancing yourself from all the rumors, you enjoyed Deadpool Wolverine quite a bit.
Yeah, I did enjoy it.
imagine.
Yes.
Because it's a very fan servicey, cameo oriented movie. So yeah, Captain America: Brave New World. No new footage. They came out with like the teaser trailer a couple weeks ago. And it's enough, I think, definitely enough for your comic book geek to be interested. There is the shot of the Red Hulk at the end, which, like we won't get into that very much, but it's interesting at least.
You can talk about it. Don't do it on the count of me.
Oh, no, yeah.
There's not a lot to say.
There's just not a lot to talk about.
Okay. Is it true Seth Rollins is in this movie?
Yes.
Well, whether he makes the cut or not. Well, okay.
Okay, so he filmed for this movie.
Yeah.
That's
And
what we will say.
I'm going to tell you, it's looking up for him because of the announcement they made here in they made an announcement at the con that Giancarlo Esposito, who was said to be in the movie here a few weeks back, they announced that he is playing Sidewinder, who is the leader of the Serpent Society in the comics. Now, Seth Rollins was rumored way back when to be playing a member of the Serpent Society. Now, that was about 8 rewrites ago. So I think we were all kind of wondering whether Seth Rollins was actually going to be in it. Seth Rollins is a wrestler, by the way, if you're not, for the uninitiated.
Yes.
But this news that Giancarlo Esposito and who he's playing is actually very good news on if you're a Seth Rollins fan, because it's clear the Serpent Society is in this movie. Now, that's a weird character because in the comics, they usually were like lower level political minded villains, but they were all wearing these very garish snake outfits, which clearly they will not be in this movie.
Bummer.
Yeah. I don't know. Like so many of them are wearing like you just have to see it. I don't know how you would make these work. The MCU does a pretty good job of making the comic accurate costumes work, as evidenced by the yellow and blue Wolverine. But Serpent Society may be a road too far. They announced that. It's a weird announcement, but okay. Giancarlo Esposito, you're never going to feel bad about him being in your movie.
Harrison Ford, king of the box office.
Harrison Ford, who had all the energies. If you've seen any of the video from Hall H.
He was hulking out.
He literally hulked out, which I kind of wish they would have not. I mean, the comic book sweaties, the nerds, they know who he is and who the Red Hulk is and all that. But the way they introduced the Red Hulk in the comics is, I wish they would have reintroduced him that way into the MCU for the normies, the people who aren't aware of who it is, because it was a mystery for a long time. And I wish they would have not
Played with that a little bit.
Yeah, I wish they would have so for the people who don't know, like on some levels when I critique the MCU, I'm unfair because I'm doing it from the standpoint of a geek, a nerd who loves comic books, because I'm not taking into account the people who are just walking into these movies because they like the movies. They know nothing about the comics.
Yeah.
But in this case, I'm trying to be level-headed about it and say, man, I really wish you would have played with that a little more, because the Red Hulk mystery is kind of cool. But anyways, you can't do it all.
Yeah, and I agree. I had to let go of the comic book.
Well, and I think you have to do that to some extent for sure.
I had to, because I was getting just the whole conversation of Thunderbolt that doesn't happen if they're going to do what they're going to do just would drive me through the roof.
Yeah. So there is a movie. That was the next announcement. They bring out the Thunderbolts cast. On all the promotional material, it's Thunderbolts with an asterisk.
Oh.
Which Kevin Feige...
It's like Barry Bonds' record.
Yeah,
Yes.
Kevin Feige he's being really coy about it. He's like, we're not going to tell you what the asterisk means yet. So because that was a question obviously asked to him. Some footage was shown. Some people who were there posted on social media that it was reminiscent of James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. That was the kind of feel with it. And I think that's what people have kind of, labeled it, is that this is Marvel's version of The Suicide Squad. So we'll see.
Which is weird because DC, when they announced they're doing the Suicide Squad, it's, well, this is DC's version of Guardians of the Galaxy. And so we're going back and forth here.
Well, you can actually see how some of that stuff we do is kind of nonsensical when we're all about comparing it to other things. Then they brought out the Fantastic Four First Steps cast, because that is now the full name of the movie, Fantastic Four First Steps. Confirmed, it does take place in the 60s. I think this was a rumor, a pretty strong rumor for a while, but they actually confirmed it.
And we have Pedro. Not allegedly anymore. He's there.
All the Pedro that you can handle is happening.
Wow.
I'm excited.
He's with the mustache, which I'm still a little salty about. But, variants, whatever. Some footage was also shown of Fantastic Four. It did have our first look at Galactus. Maybe you've seen
I haven't seen that.
So the people in Hall H got to see that.
So either Galactus is smaller than I'm anticipating Galactus should be, or that window was gigantic.
Well, the window can't be regular size because then it wouldn't be as cinematic. But yeah, I get you.
Why'd you say cinematic like that? You hear that? As cinematic.
Because I'm related to Marty Scorsese.
Oh, gotcha.
And then the big news starts to happen. The Russos coming back to direct the next two Avengers movies, which is big because there was a lot of discussion of how responsible they were for a lot of the success of especially the last couple phases of the Infinity Saga. They had a lot of influence, and a lot of people posited that maybe the lack of success or the downward trend after they left had something to do with because Feige's still the controller, but the Russos have a steadying presence, a way of telling the story that just worked.
I attributed the success of Marvel to someone else, not the Russos.
Okay.
And the only successful movie outside of Spider-Man in Phase 4, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, gosh.
And hear me out.
Cody's being a DC honk.
No, hear me out. Kevin Feige and the Russos both said, person that is probably the most responsible for the Infinity Stone saga is a one James Gunn.
Okay.
And he came up with the ways to do it.
I'm not going to fight you on that. He is an integral part.
That is fine.
I'm cool with that.
And the Russos are great. So I'm just saying, I think that there might have been another piece also.
I'm not going to engage in James Gunn slander because of the last 3-4 years, Guardians 3 is the best Marvel movie. And he is the one most likely at this point that I can trust to tell me a story, tell me a good story.
Yeah.
And that's all I need.
Yeah.
With the characters I like in it. But make me care about the story, and he's good at that. So I'm not gonna argue with you. One of the writers they worked with on Endgame also back with him. They were kind of like a package deal, which I also think is good. Then the big news.
I got like 20 text messages on this news, so there's no avoiding it. I got like 20. I know about RDJ. Everybody texted me.
And this is where I think we're going to get off the rails a little bit.
We will.
Robert Downey Jr. is back. ...
Yeah.
As Victor Von Doom, and I want to pay special attention that they did not say Dr. Doom. They said they had him dressed up as Dr. Doom. He comes out, he takes off the mask, but they specifically made a point of introducing him as Victor Von Doom.
So hold on, let me get this right. You were there?
No, I saw the video.
My heart about dropped. I was like, wait a minute.
Oh no.
Okay.
If let's be fair. Of the three people sitting at this table, the one who most likely would ever get invited would be you, and I'd be begging you to go.
My heart just went down into my kneecaps. I was like, wait, how did I?
Because DJ is people who knows people. But
that.
On the surface, this makes no sense. It makes sense from and I assume we're going to hear from Capitalist Cody. This makes sense from a financial perspective.
Yeah. They're going to make some cheddar
for Marvel Studios. But this represents a couple things. A full pivot away from Kang. They might recast him to somehow move the story to RDJ's Doom. But clearly Kang is done. They renamed the movie. It's Avengers Doomsday now. It's not, the Kang, whatever. And so... yeah, Robert Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom. Thoughts?
Okay, I have thoughts.
I
I'll
knew you
start
would.
us. DJ, I got a question for you. Do you remember what Michael Jordan's last shot as a Chicago Bull was?
Yeah, he was shooting over your boy on his tippy toes from the free throw line against the Jazz.
That would be Byron
Russell.
Byron Russell, yeah. the
Okay.
Utah Jazz.
Is MJ largely considered one of the greatest to ever play the game, if not the
yep.
greatest?
Yep, you're kind of leading the witness, but yes.
Yes, I am.
Yes. Yeah.
Did he play after playing with the Chicago
Yes, he
Bulls?
sure did.
Just answer the questions, please.
Yes. Sorry.
You're out
Yes.
of order.
Did he win any more championships after playing with the Chicago Bulls?
In his defense, he didn't win one with the Chicago Bulls too, but yes, he didn't win after the Chicago Bulls. Yes.
Okay, so I'm wearing a Washington Wizards Michael Jordan jersey right now.
I see that. That's an interesting choice.
It is an interesting choice.
And it's ugly, but that's
It
okay.
is. So I loved MJ. I was a huge MJ hunk, as the kids say. I had literally not just the jerseys, not just the trading cards. I had the sleeping bag, the pajamas, the posters. I had everything. MJ was life.
Counselor, I'm going to ask you to, get
Get
back
to the
on
point. I
subject
am.
here.
Here we go.
Okay, yeah.
Listen.
Where are we going with this?
Oh, okay, you're interrupting, so it's going to take longer. But
Combative, Cody.
Yes.
here is the point. It was the greatest storybook ending when it ended with the shot as a Chicago Bull. And he was retired for 2 years.
Yeah.
Comes back less than perfect Mike and with not as good of a supporting cast, can't even make it to the playoffs. And when you hear debates on TV, people just leave off the Wizards years like they didn't exist. RDJ had the best ending to a comic book character after this epic saga run of 20 plus movies, and he's the one that ends the whole gambit in Endgame and makes the ultimate sacrifice, gets sent off, and we're like, RDJ, he's the man.
It was a good ending.
And literally, as someone that was not a Marvel guy, I paid close attention throughout the saga of Iron Man. I don't want to come back. You got to pay me more money. I don't want to come back. You got to pay me more money. And then when Endgame happened, I'm done. I get to walk away. I left Marvel in a better place than I found it. And now we are about to ruin the perfect storybook ending. Even though it's a different character, don't come at me with the different character. It's the actor I'm focused on.
Oh, I'm coming at you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so
Oh, yeah.
you have potentially ruined in some of the mystique, the aura around Endgame is, oh, that's RDJ's last time in Marvel. That's RDJ's final time in a big pivotal role in Marvel. I would have been okay with like, oh, RDJ his face will pop up for like 10 seconds and we're done. Like that wouldn't bothered me. But we have two movies. He's confirmed. 80 mil plus.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Yeah.
This is MJ.
Nobody talks about his baseball career a whole lot either.
This is true.
Nor should they. I think you're missing some of the subtler, finer points of promotion. Like I think they say those things. A lot of them said those things on the in-game tour.
And I also think Disney has come back with, here is an ungodly amount of cash.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're giving him the
And
bag.
so we really need you to come back. I really think he was done.
Yeah, I agree with that. I
And
think they
so-
convinced him.
Or he could have like the same thing Brett Favre have. You know, you go and you're taking your kid to school every day, and you're fixing peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and you're going, I'm Brett Favre. The Jets it is. I'm Michael Jordan. I'm Tom Brady. I think a lot of athletes specifically get caught up in that, and he could be caught up in that.
He could.
Like there's this party going on, and I thought I was done. I just can't be done. But I hear what you're saying. It is something different that we're going to have to face here, because it brings me to the point like, so why does Black Panther's character have to be over?
Yes.
If this is the type of things we're going to do, why does Black Panther have to this? Why can't we just replace him like we do everybody else?
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's
would have
fair.
been great if we had replaced Iron Man.
That's what I'm saying.
You literally could have had a different actor come in, and I would have been like, okay.
And the 18 Spider-Man. So what's
Yes.
I don't quite get that part. But yeah, here we go. I hope there's some mega storytelling. I'm with Dave. If the storytelling is good, I'm so good. What's going to be bad is if you do all of this and it's a flop of a story.
Mm-hmm. Which is, by and large, the last couple phases have suffered from that.
Absolutely.
It's like, yeah, you're doing exciting things with the casting and the cameos and the fan service, but you forgot about telling a good story, which is my problem with the whole thing. I think, just as a bottom line, I'm not actually going to argue anything you said, Cody, because right now we just don't know. It's valid. It's valid to say he came back for the bag because they announced he's getting paid. He's getting paid well. I think it's exciting. It's exciting news. This has been the promise of the multiversal saga all along, and so sort of my frustration with the multiversal saga is they keep giving us these cameos and fan service and things that are quite literally Easter eggs. They're so small. Like, they can be deep cuts, whatever. What we want is
Story.
Captain America. We want Tony Stark. We want these characters to show up in variant forms. That was the whole promise. So I'm excited for that. I'm a little nervous by the fact that he's playing Doctor Doom because that doesn't make any sense. I think at the end of the day is they're trying to throw a swerve. They're trying to fool you. Because they were so heavy on saying, they said it more than once, he's playing Victor Von Doom, which would imply he's not a variant, which makes me think he's a variant. And he's a Tony Stark variant from another reality that killed Doom, went crazy, assumed his identity, and now is going to be the villain of this, mostly the first Avengers one, the Doomsday. And then I think there's going to be some sort of cliffhanger that implies that the real Doom's out there pulling the strings somewhere, or Kang and the real Doom, or something. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to tell that story, but I think he's a patsy. That's what I'm saying.
I'm also tired of Marvel trying to purposely get people off the scent. Either don't have these big announcements and no one knows until you are ready to release the movie, which is how every other studio operates. Here's a trailer. Here's the movie. Enjoy.
Yeah, but you have to see why they do that. I mean, the internet went nuts. It broke the internet.
I'm just saying.
Cody is serious over here.
They broke the internet with that
This
announcement.
is convincing Cody right now. He's convincing me to change my mind.
You know, it's all about what's trending.
I know.
That's a big deal. I don't like it either, but it is what it is. We're going to get into this more when we get into our Deadpool Wolverine review. But first, we got to play the movie game. DJ's got to play the movie game.
Yes.
When we come
I'm
back.
a rookie.
Greetings. Dave's blurb voice here. In a world where we do movie reviews on a podcast, you need to be aware that we are going to spoil the nerd out of this movie. We know that spoilers aren't everyone's cup of tea. So if that's you, go ahead and hit pause, see the movie, and then come back and listen to this thrilling podcast later. The Pop Culture Podcast movie review starts now.
Okay, we are back. It's time to play the movie game. DJ, are you ready for the rules?
Yeah.
I have 3 movie profiles from Rotten Tomatoes. You're familiar with Rotten Tomatoes?
Yes.
Okay. You are going to get clues at each level. We'll start with the first level, where you will get the tomato score and the year. So the critics' tomato score and the year. And at each level, you can try and solve. And what you're trying to do is solve it on an earlier level than Cody does. So level 1, the tomato score and the year. Level 2, the second build actor. Level 3, the audience score. Level 4, the first build actor. And finally, the blurb.
Dave likes when it gets to the blurb.
I do, because I get to use my blurb voice. So I have 3 Rotten Tomato movie profiles that I'm holding. One that's a critically panned movie, one that's a mediocre movie, and one that is a critically fresh, according to Rotten Tomatoes, a good movie. 86% Rotten Tomato score, 61%, and 17%. Which one would you like to try and solve?
I'm doomed.
I don't think you're giving yourself credit. I think you'll be good at this.
Let's go. Start with the best one. Start the highest score. Yeah.
That's usually where people go.
It's a safe one.
So this is an 86% Rotten Tomato score, and the movie came out in 2014. This is just, you just throw out a guess, because not many people, in fact, we probably had about 50% people who didn't solve at all.
So 2014.
Yeah, it's a movie. It came out in 2014. It's 86% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes.
What's he doing?
I can't even read that. Where did you learn to write? Cody likes to write on sticky notes and pass them to me because he's guessing. He's wrong.
Oh.
But it's a good guess.
2014.
Only one person has ever guessed it on the first one.
I can't even think of 2014.
Yeah, right. I was alive then.
There's a few world-ending events in between now and then.
Okay, wait. I'll just throw one out. Yeah.
I almost want to slide you my piece of paper.
Let's just say one of the Spider-Mans. I don't know.
That's a good guess, and nice and quick too. So we're moving on, because that is not correct.
Okay. I'm sorry, bro. You said 2004. I'm lost.
I'm just messing with you. The second billed actor is level 2. So 86%, 2014. The second billed actor is Michael Nyqvist. Michael Nyqvist or Nyqvist. He's the second billed actor. So no guess. You can pass.
I pass.
Level
don't
3.
blame you there.
The audience score is not going to help you much. It's 81%. So it's about pretty much the same. Audiences liked it. Critics liked it. 2014, second billed actor, Michael Nyqvist.
Throw Mama from the Train. Don't throw Mama.
A little too recent for Throw Mama from the Train, but a great movie. Level 4, the first billed actor. This one's going to help you out a lot. Keanu Reeves. 86%. 2014 movie with Michael
I've only
Nyqvist
seen one movie with him, and I think it's Speed. I can't even think of anything with him.
and Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I don't.
No guess.
I don't
Okay,
care.
level 5.
The blurb.
The blurb. This is what we. See, let me get ready. A mobster makes the extremely foolish mistake of killing a retired assassin's dog, so the hitman sets out to get his revenge.
Oh, that's the Wick.
Yeah, that's it. For those of you listening, because this is an audio podcast, he did finger guns. He did finger guns. That is correct. John Wick, listen.
And I have never watched it.
Me either.
I have. It was actually enjoyable.
And everybody looks at me like, you? Yeah, I haven't ever seen it. I need to watch it, but I always forget.
No shame. Like I said,
I don't have any.
a lot of first timers have not solved.
I have failed miserably.
I'm not going to do well at this.
Okay.
I already knew that coming in.
Cody, so all you got to do is beat level 5. You have a 61%.
Where's my sticky note and my pen? So I can
Pass him a sticky note
pass me the
so he
sticky
can
note.
guess.
Yeah, so I can. Yes.
61% movie and a 17% movie. Which one would you like to try and solve?
61%.
All right.
Ooh, that's another safe
17
one.
can be brutal.
We'll
at
put
times.
this one aside for the tiebreaker should we need it. 61% Rotten Tomato critical score for a movie that came out in 1999.
99.
Armageddon.
Good guess, but no, not
Son of a
Armageddon. The second billed actor, level 2, Rachel Weisz. Rachel Weisz.
He's enjoying this too much. We should know this one.
I think I'd make a good game show host.
He's enjoying this one too much.
Yeah, I don't know. So
Level 3, the audience score 75%. So quite a jump, a little bit of a jump there. Audiences liked it more than the critics.
The Faculty.
What did you?
Was Rachel Weisz in the faculty?
What was your guess?
Armageddon first. And
Okay.
I will say things confidently.
Yeah, no. I just wanted. I couldn't remember what you guessed.
Okay. Level 4, to beat DJ.
I probably am going to lose to DJ.
The 61% Rotten Tomato score, 1999. Second billed actor, Rachel Weisz. The top billed actor, Brendan Fraser.
Oh, The Mummy?
It is The Mummy.
Yeah!
Cody wins. I'm sorry, DJ.
I was blanking out on Rachel.
I wouldn't have got that.
I had like Rachel Bliss in my head.
We will gift you with the home version of the game to take out of the studio. I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say, don't do that.
We don't.
Don't do that. Trust me.
I don't like games.
No, it's not that I don't like games. It's like you don't want to give me that game.
All right. When we come back.
What was the blurb?
Oh, the blurb? You want me to read the blurb?
Oh, yeah. I want to hear the blurb.
Explorers go to Egypt in search of treasure, but end up waking Imhotep, an ancient high priest cursed for all time.
See, I haven't seen that either.
You haven't seen The Mummy?
No.
We did a Be Kind Rewind on it. You should watch it and then listen to the Be Kind Rewind.
Share it with your
It's
friends.
fantastic. In 1999, we were sure it was the rebirth of Indiana Jones. Brendan Fraser was going to be a huge star.
It took him a while.
Yeah. He had some sad things happen to him. Anyways, all right. Moving on. Deadpool and Wolverine when we come back. All right, we're back. You got your spoiler warning. Just so you know, we're gonna talk about spoilers. So you should have already stopped listening when you heard the spoiler warning. But we're back now.
We have a spoiler warning?
We do. We do. I recorded a spoiler warning. Actually, my blurb voice recorded a spoiler warning.
Nice.
Yeah. He introduces himself like I do it in the third persons. This is Dave's blurb voice. Anyways, the audience just heard that. We didn't.
We did not.
We're here to review Deadpool and Wolverine. The movie went past 500 million globally today. As we sit here and record this, it already has passed 500 million on its 5th day of release. I think we're pretty sure this is on its way to a billy, which we all kind of predicted.
I did, at least.
Yeah. So let's put to bed, first and foremost, any talk of superhero movie fatigue. Clearly, that's not a thing. Clearly, there's still an audience out there for these kind of movies, which I like to point out because that's been my case the whole time, is like these movies are not struggling because of superhero movie fatigue. These movies are struggling because you're not telling good stories. You're not doing it well. This one, I'm not sure they do it any better than this, but this movie's got other things going for them, which we will talk about. Other interesting things, Deadpool, should I... Well, let's start off with the blurb part. It's 78% currently on Rotten Tomatoes, which actually I don't think is far off. Metacritic at 56%. Does that surprise you?
No. The Metacritic scores for 1 and 2 were like 65 and 61.
Now, what is Metacritic?
So I think they actually try to look at a movie from a lot of different facets and judge it very critically, especially the storytelling ability. Like, is the story something that people, if I pitched it to you, would you actually really enjoy it?
Oh, okay. Interesting. Directed by Sean Levy, budget of $200 million, so they've already crushed that. Here's the blurb. Deadpool's peaceful existence comes crashing down when the Time Variance Authority recruits him to help safeguard the multiverse. He soon unites with his would-be pal, Wolverine, to complete the mission and save his world from an existential threat. There you go. Let's just get started with kind of a broad description of the movie. This isn't going to take long. As you might have guessed, it's a Deadpool movie. We're not wading through thick plot here. Deadpool is leading a normal, boring life. He's given up the heroing game, I guess, to be a car salesman.
As one does.
He's broken up, or his girlfriend broke up with him. That happened sometime in between movies. He's quickly recruited, seemingly by the TVA. We later learned this was a setup by a rogue TVA agent. His world is coming to an end, apparently because his world's Wolverine from the movie Logan is dead. He is like an anchor being, which back in WandaVision around that time, I think we were calling them Nexus beings, but now they're anchor beings.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know how I feel about it either. It's just kind of weird. Like, why Logan? Why is Logan an anchor being? They haven't really gotten into explaining that too much yet. From the movie Logan, that's apparently the same universe Deadpool's in. Hence, he needs a Wolverine, and he sets off to find one by stealing a TVA temp pad, which apparently are super easy to steal because that happens all the time to them.
It's like if you're in Metropolis and you're up against Superman, there's kryptonite everywhere.
You just go find kryptonite in the dumpster, apparently.
Yes.
Or steal it from a museum, because Lex Luthor is always doing that. And this is the worst Wolverine ever, apparently. Because, as they say often, he failed his world.
He did.
Then they need to work together, even though this Wolvie is completely uninterested to defeat a truly menacing villain in Cassandra Nova and stop the plot of the rogue agent. Did I miss anything?
No.
Yeah, that was brief and to the point.
So what would you like from us?
Well, first we're going to start off with what's good. What did you like about the movie, DJ?
Deadpool using Logan's skeleton as a weapon threw me off. Thought that was pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting for the crowd reaction of Wesley Snipes showing up. Mm-hmm. The theater boomed when I went to that.
Where'd you see that?
Here in
Street?
I was like, white people enjoying a movie demonstratively?
Oh.
I've never seen that before.
Listen, white people love the Blade movies.
Okay, that's fine. But most of the time, the movie's like church. You can't say nothing. You stare straight ahead and just look at the screen.
Oh, yeah.
So there was a demonstrativeness that was there that I mean, people were like clapping. So Blade's the man. Henry Cavill? Cavalrine?
Yes, the cavalry.
That was not on my bingo card. That just kind of made me go, what? What's old dude's name? I had some notes here. What's his name showing up as Gambit?
Channing
Tatum. I was like, what is going on? Tatum trying to do an accent was just funny to me. Like, I was just laughing at this terrible accent. And I don't know if that was like the point. Or
I think it was.
I thought that was pretty funny. There were some really good zingers in this film. Mm-hmm. I thought was pretty cool, which you can always expect from Deadpool. So I was impressed with some of the dialogue. And I actually would like to see them together more often.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, surely the two main characters, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, just have great chemistry together.
Yeah,
anyways.
I really enjoyed this tag team, and I could not picture it.
The commercials and teasers may be the best for any Marvel movie yet. They might be just as funny as some of the things in the movie. I'd like to back up the whole first scene, because I want to address and agree with you on some of your points here. That first scene with the bones of Logan and him dancing to Bye Bye Bye, Instinct's Bye Bye Bye, was so amazing and perfect.
Yeah.
And look, we're going to talk about fan service a lot, because Deadpool is a character who's, quite literally inherently about fan service in comics and in the movies.
No doubt about
that part
it.
of this movie is incredible and unmatched.
Yeah.
Like, if your movie character is about fan service, then get the fan service right. Yeah. And they really did that.
They did. They nailed that. And then the part about why is Thor crying, that was kind of making me laugh. Like, he was stuck on, but why is Thor crying? So why is Thor crying? So that kind of keep coming back.
And how excited he was about it.
It was,
that he was going to make Thor cry. His heroism.
Yeah. So I guess sometimes comparison can be the ruin of contentment. But compared to where we have been, I thought this was kind of refreshing. But I haven't really done a whole lot of stuff beforehand.
Cody, do you have any reactions or comments on DJ's list?
I did really enjoy the continuing Thor bit of, like, why is he crying? And when do I get to meet Thor? Is Thor coming out?
And please, in some future movie, pay that off.
That would be so cool.
Preferably in one of those Avengers movies.
Yes.
If you pay that off, you'll get a huge cheer.
That's going to be dope.
Yeah. So I'll save something that I know that you really were big on for you.
Okay.
Even though I'm really big on it as well. But I love his pop culture references, Deadpool's. Even when they're battling the big bad of that area, Cassandra Nova, they bring up the Enya box set. I can't do the rest of the quote, but I was dying laughing at that.
Yeah.
There's so many one-liners.
Yes.
And this is very much like Deadpool is the MCU version of the Gilmore Girls. You almost have to have a notepad to just be writing down all the references.
Yeah, because there's a ton of Fox stuff going on there, which I thought was pretty cool.
You mentioned Channing Tatum and Gambit.
Yeah.
Gambit as a character.
Yeah.
His storyline and his inclusion in this movie and the things that are said by him and around him are all so deep cuts.
Absolutely.
For the geek fan who's in on the rumors. Because his movie never happened.
It never happened.
And now I really want it to happen.
And so what's funny is how Deadpool's like, and who are you? So it's like, that is so good. I just really thought they did a really good job on that.
Yeah, and the way they did his costume, they made it look kind of garish from like what that time, if that movie would have gotten made, like Fantastic Four era. Oh man, that was great.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Cody, what else?
Oh, I'll let you go.
Oh, you can let me go. Okay,
Yeah.
Here we go.
Before you do that, something that just irked me for some reason was the way that she grabbed Mr. Paradox and dragged him down the subway stairs. I don't know why that was so disturbing to me.
That was very disturbing.
Yes, that was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Maybe, okay, not Cody, but that's normal people.
Cody and his wife like the scary movies.
We're all about it.
So body horror, not that big of a... But for me and for you, apparently, body horror is one of those things where I'm like, I start squirming, and that was hard.
Yeah.
Watching her reach into people's faces.
Yeah, that was different.
Yeah. No, I was
and
like...
her eyes going in and her hands going in. And
Don't like that. Hey, the CGI on that was great, too.
Yeah.
It looked real. Here's my list of what's good. The fan service, obviously, Deadpool is a character who's created in the comics as one thing, but very quickly changes into this fourth wall breaking inside joke, basically, for comic nerds and comic lovers and people in the comic industry. Even he is an outlet for people in the comic industry, the writers, to make inside jokes.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, they've done a really good job of translating that to screen.
Absolutely.
So you get all the inside jokes about the Fox movies and about there was even a couple jokes about the DC, the Warner Brothers debacles, right? With the cavalry, which I truly enjoyed, and Cody squirmed.
Although,
why did you squirm?
Because it was lame.
Cody's a DC fan.
But I will also say they compared Wolverine when he put his mask on to Batman. And it's like, okay, you can't be cursing DC's existence and saying how they squandered talent and then being like, oh, Batman, he's cool. Like, get off my property.
Well, Batman is the only cool DC character by pop culture standards. Superman's not cool. People think Superman's a Boy Scout.
But all the cool people are huge Superman fans.
They had to make Aquaman a completely different character on the screen to make him cool. And Jason Momoa him.
I'm just saying, Shaquille O'Neal and Wyclef Jean are huge Superman guys.
But we're talking about cool. And when you think of Superman, you don't think cool.
Yeah.
You think brave.
I think
you think Boy Scout.
He doles it down.
Batman's cool. Wolverine's cool. Captain America's not cool.
Yeah.
If you saw Endgame,
No.
Cap was cool.
I know us.
Yeah,
I'm saying by the standards of pop culture.
I'm just letting you know.
So he's actually, the soul level is just dropping in the room because he doesn't understand what we're saying.
No, I do get what you're saying, that Batman's a billionaire playboy. He's cool by societal standards, where Superman is a Boy Scout. He's a goody two-shoes.
So if we start describing Superman, you're not going to go cool. You're going to go Boy Scout.
My friend Patrick Mahomes might be Superman, and I think he's cool.
Cody, translation, Cody's just mad they made fun of DC.
That's what I'm really hearing.
That's what he's saying.
I hear hurt feelings here.
I don't get why you would bring it in. That's my deal.
Because it was funny.
It really was.
And that's the point to me with Deadpool, is he doesn't really have a point.
That's true. So, when talking about the fan service, the cameos, the Easter eggs, the presence of Hugh Jackman himself, like his whole presence in this movie is fan service when it comes down to it. And that is done well. If that's what you want, then Deadpool's a great outlet for it, and this movie's a great outlet for it. Other things that were good, the violence. This movie delivers on the tone of the first two Deadpool movies, which we wondered about. We wondered if Disney was going to allow Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy to bring this kind of Deadpool character and how that rated R concept would work. I think they did a good job. The action is intense and cartoonish, but it's super bloody. No less than 6 times does someone get stabbed in the nether regions, which to me was a little gratuitous, but it's Deadpool.
It is.
Yeah. The music.
That's the part I was saving for you. I was being nice.
I'm going to tell you what, even though the storytelling hasn't been great, Marvel really knows how to use popular music to enhance their movies. Thor: Love and Thunder is one of my least favorite movies in the MCU, but you can't deny that how they used Guns N' Roses' music library was fantastic. It elevated some of the scenes in that movie for me just by the music, and this is no different. You sent me that clip of Ryan Reynolds today doing the interview on Live with Kelly and Mark, whoever they are. And
Kelly Ripa.
I know who Kelly Ripa is.
I don't know who Kelly Ripa is, sorry.
She's a dime store Kathy Lee. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it used to be Live with Kathy Lee and Reach.
Yeah.
But he was talking about how they had to go meet with Madonna to get permission to use the song.
Oh,
and he mentioned,
like a prayer?
Yeah,
Yes.
like a prayer. He mentions that she gave him a really good note to use in the movie with that song. Cody, what do you think the note was?
Children's choir.
I do too. I agree. I thought we would get that. The usage of the song and the way they tweaked it for the heroic moment where it was just the children's choir singing like a prayer was so powerful and effective in the theater. And I think it was Madonna he was implying that it was Madonna that gave him the note to do that.
Gotcha.
That it would be really affecting. So I thought the music's great. Of course, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, their chemistry is so good. I don't even know why. Why are these guys like, he's made a joke about it for years. So their social media connection.
I really thought that because of how you got mad at my man from Yellowstone in his mouth and you made fun of his mouth acting.
Yeah.
That there is this thing with Hugh Jackman where he likes to just stare off with tears in his eyes.
Well, that's just acting, right?
A whole lot of staring off.
So the person that I feel does that the most is Liv Tyler. She looks like she's about to cry at a moment's notice. All the time.
I don't know why we moved to Liv Tyler standard, but okay.
But what I'm trying to say is like, so there is something about his self-loathing and Deadpool's I don't care. I'm trying to say it the nice way, right? So it's like that combination of his self-loathing and Deadpool's like, what's
your problem?
What's your problem, bruh?
When Deadpool should be the one who's self-loathing.
And I don't know if this is something we can say. I don't know if this is something to be proud of, but the violent scenes were just good to me.
They were.
The violence was good, if there's a such thing as that. Very well choreographed, very well played out. I was just really impressed with the action scenes.
I was actually taken aback by how bloody it was. It was like Quentin Tarantino. It was like Kill Bill. The blood was a-flowing. But it worked. Like the scene where they're in the van, where they're fighting in the van.
Oh, yeah, that was good stuff. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
Honestly, the best part of the movie, Peggy, the dog that plays Dogpool.
Oh, yeah, Dogpool.
Yeah, Dogpool was good.
But the real life dog's name is Peggy.
Oh, I didn't know that. I know it won. She won the British Ugliest Dog contest.
And she is the ugliest dog I have seen in quite some time. So,
But y'all didn't feel anything when Blade walked out?
Oh, no, I felt it. And
Did you feel something,
I'm not
Cody?
even a fan of those movies.
But
Actually,
you didn't feel anything, Cody?
we will address it in the next segment.
Listen, I thought the
Of
cameos.
what I felt.
The cameos were all great. That's what I expected. I expected there to be cameos. I expected them to be kind of light, fluffy cotton candy. Like they weren't going to be like these wild meaningful cameos, although Chris Evans' cameo as the Human Torch was both meaningful and hilarious.
The other thing I appreciate about Marvel is how everybody's an expert in their power. And even when another superhero gets it, he doesn't always appropriate it right. Every time somebody's used the shield or used one of somebody else's powers, they're clumsy with it. So he stabs himself with the claws. They get stuck and he can't get it unstuck. So I appreciate how Marvel does a good job of saying, yeah, they're all athletic. They all have some sense of athleticism. But when they're using one another's powers, it's a little more clumsy. It's not as fluent. And does it make sense?
Yeah, there's specific experience and training that they've gone through.
Yes.
To be able to wield that. And like, you don't think about that much because usually you see Wolverine and you're like, that's rad. That's just rad.
Yeah.
You don't think about like, how many times did he stab himself? I forgot to put it back in.
So I appreciate how it seems like Marvel does this excellent job. If somebody ever does somehow have a moment of using somebody else's power, they do it, even if it's the Iron Man suit, you don't quite just jump in it and take off in it and use it. Like there is some sense of training and some sense of, so I appreciate how even in that opening scene when he was using the dude's body, when he had the claws, it was like, oh, I got these claws. Oh, this is awesome. Then it was like, oh, wait a minute, I'm hurting myself with them.
Is it the best opening scene for an MCU movie?
It's close.
Man, it was really
It's
good.
got to be close.
I thought...
You have to admit, Cody.
I'm trying to think through.
I thought, man, if
That
this
was
is the bar they're setting...
Yes, that was an intense opener.
It was incredible first scene. And then the way they did the credits with him dancing, doing the moves, that was just fabulous. So good.
It was good.
The
I was into it.
The last
it was
What's
a vibe.
Good I have, and she was fantastic. Emma Corrin as Cassandra Nova,
No doubt.
is absolutely fantastic.
I thought you were going to say Lady Deadpool.
No. She's menacing and charming and frightening, kind of all at the same time. Really, really dug her. I had no idea who she was, but I can't get the scene out of my head where she's manipulating Wolverine and kind of making these faces as she's doing it, like she's barely getting worked up. And it's just, again, it's frightening and charming all at the same time. She's scary, crazy scary, but I'm also kind of like charmed by her. Oh, man.
So what'd you guys think about Flame On?
Oh, I thought the whole bit with Chris Evans, where you think he's like some variant of Captain America, and then him being the Human Torch, was fantastic. So funny.
Like people were cheering in my theater at that.
So I knew that there was no way that it was Captain because he wouldn't be by himself. He would have already...
He'd been a leader.
He would have already amassed a group.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
That gets you,
and
man,
so,
my goodness. Thanks,
like,
Professor.
I'm like, okay, who was he in the Fantastic Four movies? Because I hated them.
He was good as Johnny Storm in those
Don't
movies.
you feel
Yes.
like, and I know we're going to get to the bad here in a second. I know you guys got bad, but from my perspective, this was a chance for Marvel to finally have one that can just be funny, great action scenes, and entertaining.
Yeah.
And I think that had to take a break.
Well,
And just make something entertaining, super funny, right? And action scenes. Like it's like Bad Boys 2 to me in a sense. Like we have to just kind of stop and be as entertaining as possible, as funny as possible. They nailed all of that. I think I don't think the Marvel Universe was ever meant to. I know they sold that to get people to come to it, but I don't think the Marvel Universe is ever meant to hinge on this movie.
yeah. When we get to it in a minute, I'm going to have things that I have in my category of what's not so good. But I'm going to preface it all by saying I think this movie has a lot in common with Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness as far as how it plays out. But because Deadpool is the character he is, it works a lot better.
Lastly, I almost went out and bought me a Honda Odyssey after this. The best commercial ever.
For me, the last thing is It's Chris Evans' post-credit scene where you
Yeah.
see, he said all this.
Yes, that's actually pretty cool. Yes.
That was hilarious.
That was funny.
If not
That was
completely
funny.
and utterly
That was
vulgar.
funny.
That was great.
I agree. That is funny.
One of the cameos that was in this movie is so under the radar, you probably didn't know it happened.
Oh, there's no way I didn't know it.
Okay, are you ready for this? Cowboy Deadpool
Yeah.
was played by
Oh,
Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So Deadpool is notorious for having like these huge big names, familiar faces, and then not showing their face at all.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Brad Pitt.
So, okay, that's what's
You
good.
got the-
Let's move on to what's not so good, and I feel like this could get a little contentious.
I'm so glad I'm here to see this side of Cody.
Yeah, Cody is going to get worked up here in a second.
I'm not.
So we'll let DJ go first. What's not so good about it?
Go straight to Cody. I don't have anything, believe it or not. I don't have anything that I'm disappointed about.
DJ is great here because he doesn't. You may be a comic book fan, but you don't bring the same baggage that I bring into it.
I couldn't enjoy nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So he's in a better place than I am.
Yeah.
But
I went to AA.
Cody, what's not so good?
Something that you both said was great. All the cameos.
Not a fan for you.
I actually love cameos, but I like it when it is earned and well done. I didn't think that you introduced the other Fox properties in The Void well. Like, why is Wesley Snipes' Blade there? You didn't elaborate. You didn't give me anything to be attached to them. It's just, there's Wesley Snipes. And why, out of all the characters, are we bringing in Elektra?
Because she was Fox. I'm not disagreeing with you here because I think you're onto something. I think that
I just don't feel like Blade needs anything. He stands
no,
alone.
but I think the TVA is in this movie for the sole reason of assuming that you've seen Loki and so that you understand there are all variants and what the Void is. Which is a big assumption because there are probably many people who saw this movie who didn't watch Loki.
That's true.
I have several friends that are quote unquote huge MCU fans, have not seen one or two of seasons of Loki.
So if you haven't seen Loki, then you are totally mystified by what the Void is, the Time Variance Authority is, and how all these people got there.
Yeah, where they came from. Yeah,
So
okay.
you're not wrong.
And that leads to part 2, the TVA storyline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's junk.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a lot of facets of it that you could have at least glamored it up and made it kind of convoluted. So then you just don't understand it. Instead, they don't even try to hide it, that it's just kind of there as a plot device to move the story along and get these cameos to be in their movie.
Yeah, I agree. The TVA is used so poorly in this movie. It's clearly a plot device so that they don't have to explain what any one of these people are doing there. Why there's a Void. They're just saying, if we use the TVA and we call this the Void, you know why Eliath and all this is going on. However, it's super disjointed and disconnected from the story at large, where we last left the TVA in the Loki series. It doesn't bear any resemblance to where they would be at. In fact, 3/4 of the way through the movie, I'm secretly hoping this is a Time Variance Authority, because even though Owen Wilson in the Loki series says there's only one TVA, we don't have variants, he could be an unreliable narrator. He might just not know. So I was secretly hoping that until we saw B16 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, no, this is the Time Variance Authority, and none of this makes sense at that point.
Doesn't make sense.
How come there is absolutely... The TVA is almost omniscient at times in the Loki series. How could this rogue agent be doing all these things unbeknownst to the TVA at large, even after they got hoodwinked in the Loki series? I'm going to actually, if you don't mind, I'm going to piggyback onto you.
You go.
Because one of my things that's not so good for me about the movie is the internal story of this movie. It is very, very loosely connected, which you should understand in a Deadpool movie that it's not. But my problem is the first two movies, the story is, at least the heart of the story is pretty good. Like, for instance, Deadpool's girlfriend broke up with him. Why? Because he wasn't doing enough, I guess. That's why Deadpool wants to be an Avenger. That's why we're presented why his motivation is. He wants to make a difference, but this is all so weakly connected. And then at the end, you assume they're back together. Why? Because she took his word that he did something of solidity? Like, she wouldn't even know.
My dear friend Vanessa is very trusting.
The Wolverine who let down his entire world, quote. And by let down his entire world, I mean he got drunk while the X-Men got killed, then felt so sorry for himself, went on a murderous rage, which is a strange backstory for a character I'm supposed to be rooting for.
Honestly, I wish...
But he's an anti-hero, so...
Yeah, I
wanted them to play up, like, the murderous rage part. Not he wasn't there when the X-Men got demolished.
Right. So you can really see the problem with rewrites. As we've mentioned with several of the MCU movies in the last couple phases, it doesn't quite connect, because if this is the Wolverine and then you spend the other parts of the movie really trying to make you root for him, because why wouldn't we? He's Hugh Jackman Wolverine. We want to root for him. I'm like, DJ, lean into the murderous part. Make him completely untrustworthy, but you trust him in the other parts of the movie. So the backstory, all the connections of the story that are supposed to provide us with the heart, the main characters' motivations, I believe are weaker than Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2. I actually think Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2 have this really good heart.
Oh, yes.
You understand Wade's motivations. You even understand Vanessa's motivations. And I don't think you really quite understand any of that. And it's not really their concern. It's part of an ongoing problem with the story of Deadpool and the purpose of Deadpool. So I said that Deadpool in the comics was created as an inside joke. It's an inside joke in the comic book world. So they translate it to the screen, but Ryan Reynolds brings something else. Gratuitous violence, which in the comics, they can be violent, but it's not about gratuitousness, right? In the movies, it is. And the problem with that is each successive movie has to be more gratuitous. That's the whole definition of being gratuitous. It has to get more gratuitous. And so on that level, they succeed. The violence, the action, we talked about it. It was good. It was entertaining. But I think the story suffers a little bit.
Story suffers. So at this point, I feel I'm going to capitalist Cody mode.
Yeah.
That you have all these cameos and rumors circulating, so then you get more eyes on the movie. Because the big thing that was the big rumor for this movie, and so I cannot lay it at the feet of this movie, but I can probably lay it at the feet of Marvel. And that is, well, this movie's supposed to introduce how you get the X-Men into the MCU.
Okay, you're jumping the gun. I'm going to speak to this specifically after you're done.
So for me, that was definitely disappointing. Some other things would be ticky-tacky, and I don't want to do that because I get it. There's people that really, really love this movie. I enjoyed it. It wasn't something that brought a lot to the table. And DJ had mentioned that Marvel needed to go back to the funny, needed to go back to the lightheartedness. We had it. I got blasted for it.
Oh, you're saying it's Thor: Love and Thunder. Okay.
We had it.
Okay. To be fair, I hear you. I see what you're saying. My issue with it is if you go back to that review, that pod we did, I laid this out pretty clearly. Thor's not the character to do that with.
That's exactly right.
And Gore's not the villain to do that with.
That's exactly right.
This movie works because of who you're using.
Absolutely. That's my point.
So, and that was my whole problem. Not that the movie wasn't done in a quality way. It was executed fine.
And I would say it had a better story than this one.
That's also fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. It's just different characters. And that's why it works more in this movie than with Thor. Oh, okay. Imagine Taika Waititi doing a Deadpool movie. That would be incredible.
My heart just stopped.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, that would be unbelievable because it fits. But it didn't fit with Thor, at least not to the extent of the Taika we got. They unleashed the Taika.
Go full Taika.
Okay. Was that all your...
I'll let you take the floor.
Okay. I want to echo what Cody was saying there. There was the internal story, which I think has some issues, but it's Deadpool, so you can be forgiving. And again, I want to preface all this by saying the movie works for what it's supposed to be. However, and this is going to sound a lot like my problems and issues I've had with a lot of the MCU stuff, the connected part of the story that's supposed to be ongoing, because you yourselves label it a saga. This is the multiversal saga.
I gave up on that a long time.
Exactly.
I just gave up.
I'm not giving up. I'm like Charlton Heston. You can have it when you pry it from my cold, dead hands.
I have said not everything needs to be connected, but Marvel keeps saying, we're going to make it connected.
Let me address that. You're right. This is the character where I'm not expecting connection. I'm expecting to just have fun. And in that way, it succeeded. It succeeded. It's fun. And I don't want anyone to be like, Dave's complaining a lot about this movie. No, it was a fun movie. However, Kevin Feige is out there doing all these interviews in the lead up for this, saying that this is the beginning of the mutant saga in the MCU, and even more so, saying that this is the jumpstart to the ongoing Marvel story moving forward. He's a dirty liar. This movie is not connected in any way. It does not tell us anything that's going on. It will not lead anything into the Avengers unless Deadpool shows up, which he probably will. Hugh Jackman definitely will. All of this ends. They're back in Deadpool's world. This has nothing to do with the 616 Marvel Universe. Nothing. All it takes is one end credit scene. Throw us a bone. Just give us one little tacit connection. That's all the Infinity Saga did in the early days.
Yeah, absolutely.
You had one end credit scene with Thanos collecting a stone
you're
or something.
like, hey.
That's all it takes. Literally, just throw us a stinking bone.
Which you talking about this, it triggered a very important cameo that you should have explained why she was in the void. Why is Laura or
Daphne Keene's character, X-23?
Yeah, X-23 in the void after we know we're in the universe, the world that Logan takes place in.
Yeah, well, because it's not clear what universe she's from, but they don't take time to spell any of that out, even though you're clearly getting Fox Universe characters.
Yes,
you get Blade.
It's implied.
Yeah, which, it's been said, but DJ, I want to make sure you know, the Blade cameo is fantastic. Even the best line of the whole movie, the one that got the most cheers when I went and saw it, was when he says, "We all know there'll only be one Blade. There's only one of me."
Yeah, man.
Which is both a meta joke that's hilarious, and it's just a good joke.
I am a Blade guy. I like Blade. I honestly think the MCU should be paying Wesley Snipes royalties and residuals to this day, even though he was not a part of the MCU. Without him, you don't get to the MCU, because the Blade trilogy literally made it possible for more comic book movies to get made. I just didn't think you did enough due diligence of setting up Blade being there. I get it. He's bigger than anything in that movie, but
Cody was going to be there for 3.5 hours. Cody's like, this should have been a 4-hour movie. It's like,
release the Snyder
We should have
cut.
been there. Cody's like, we should be up in this like a hostage crisis.
I'm going to need a bigger nacho. So
does our B&B have nachos?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I get an extra cup because they come in the little portion cups now.
And you get the extra cup with cheese, and do they have jalapenos?
They do.
Jalapenos?
They do have jalapenos.
That's good.
You have to go to the loan office first.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
So I did a fair amount of complaining there. I do want to point out the difference between Cody and I's complaint is that
you're coming from a comic book, Marvel comic book.
No, that wasn't what I was going to say.
Okay.
I'm upset with the story because Kevin Feige was out there saying it, this is where I'm reminded where I'm going. You're upset with Robert Downey Jr. because of the things he said in the promo world, and I'm upset with the things Kevin Feige said because he was out there doing promo. But at the end of the day, I understand Kevin Feige was blowing smoke. That's what was happening. He's blowing smoke, and he's going to get what he wanted. Everyone went and saw this movie.
And I never had a doubt in the world that everyone would. I just remember people on this podcast, multiple people, not just one, multiple, that said, Cody, you can't be certain that the Deadpool's going to do well. You can't be certain.
Who said that?
You did at
I
various
never,
times.
Shots
I never
fired.
said that.
Shots fired.
Producer in the booth.
Yes,
we're
get
gonna
in
need
that
to
booth
roll
right
that
now.
because
Yes.
I don't ever
Jamie,
remember saying that.
Jamie, I
And
need
then-
you to look that up, Jamie. Is that
Literally-
We've been saying this movie was going to make a Billy for like the last 6
Literally,
months.
you said, and I quote multiple times as well, that they better hope it does good. They better hope, Cody.
And I quote. He put and I
Well,
quote.
that doesn't mean anything. They better hope it does good. It did.
There was no hoping
if it
it
didn't
was
do
going
good,
to
it was
do
gonna
good.
be, you know,
and
recurrent.
I said at that point also, you can't judge if Marvel's back or not because it's a Deadpool movie. It's going to make money, and it's going to allow Marvel to make more movies.
Well, that's correct. And that's an interesting question that we'll get back to. Are there any deeper themes here? We'll get
Why
back
do
to
you
that.
keep looking at me like I'm Skip Bayless over here? He makes his comment. He looks at me like,
Listen, Skip. Skip,
This is
you
Skip.
say something.
Say something, Skip.
Marvel Jesus.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's just talk about that for a second. Deadpool learns, and clearly we see the future. He's going to lay down his life at some point, and Thor's going to cry for him.
Yep. And honestly, the MCU should be saying, yes, Deadpool is our Jesus right now because he made enough bucks for us to make 4 more movies.
More important question to the table full of pastors. Does Deadpool saying that acknowledge that he's a believer? He believes, look what he's saying. He's like, I'm the savior of the Marvel universe. So he believes, i.e., that Jesus is the savior of the universe.
He's at least aware
Yeah.
of the mythos.
I'm here for it. Deadpool's a Christian. I'm just saying it. Not much fruit. We're not seeing the fruit yet, but he's a baby Christian. We'll ease him into it. I also thought the overall theme of, hey, everyone needs someone. Deadpool, even though he is a nihilist and he doesn't believe in much of anything, he still needs people. He needs not only his girlfriend, but clearly he needs Hugh Jackman. He needs Wolverine, his friend. He wants to be friends.
And I mean, you could look at Wolverine's weak arc. You can see with what Daphne deposits that, well, he wasn't who he was, should have been until he was.
Why did they ruin that line by putting that in a trailer? That was an amazing line. Maybe the best line of the whole movie when he says, I'm not the guy that you think I am. I'm not him. And they're like, and she's like, you never were until you were. You know, like that. Oh, that was a great line.
And
delivered great by Daphne Key.
And I would say that, yeah, you all are not, you all being the listening audience and us, that like, yeah, we're not heroes until we are in those brief moments. We're not called to be the savior, but we are called to have our moments.
Look at that. We found deeper themes in a Deadpool movie.
That's what we're here for.
DJ, who's the winner of the movie for you? It's like I asked him a calculus question.
Yeah, I
Well, you don't have to come up with one.
thank you. Yeah.
Cody, who's the winner of the movie?
Peggy!
Peggy the dog.
Dogpool is the winner. I will say Dogpool's the winner because, like, all of X was obsessed with Dogpool. My wife was like, that dog was so ugly, it was so cute.
No, that's not a thing.
And then
I can tell you from years of growing up not having girlfriends.
So you're kind of like,
that
who
is
do we
not a
give?
thing.
You're kind of like, who do we give the game ball to? Type
Yes.
thing?
Yeah.
I'm going with what's her name?
Cassandra Nova.
Thank you.
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
okay,
Gosh.
that's solid.
I will say I forgot that you're on our What's Up Doc episodes, and we don't do that on What's Up Doc.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, oh.
Who wins this documentary?
And I listened to the podcast, and I missed that. I missed when you give the game ball away.
Nothing would make me happier than Emma Corrin using this movie to be a star, like to jumpstart.
Yes.
She was fantastic. I have no care for the Cassandra Nova character, who is the twin sister of Charles Xavier, who has a really weird comic backstory. She's like murdered in the womb by Charles.
So awesome, though.
It's so weird.
That was a thing just cracks me up. And I thought Cody was going to hammer away at that.
No,
with no
I
reference
love
to
that.
Yeah. But when they said that she was going to be the foil of this movie, I was like, oh, I'm not so sure about that. I'm sure about it now because she, the actress, brought her to life in a great way. So I'm for that. And Dogpool, hey, that's not wrong either. That dog's a star.
Literally has gone to all the red carpets and been treated with just as much paparazzi action as Ryan Reynolds.
The winner of the movie for me is the one who, for the longest time, had the coldest of seats. There was no heat being applied to his seat because he was the success behind the success. He's the guy behind the guy. But then his seat started to get a little warm, and that's Kevin Feige. With the monetary success of this movie, even if we're not totally enamored with the story, we don't think it's a home run, but it's at least a double because a ground rule double because of the financial success, and Kevin Feige is back to Kevin Feige status, right?
Yep.
Because, like you said, everyone thinks Marvel's back now, and we'll get to that in a minute. Who's the loser of the movie, DJ? Do you have a loser of the movie? The opposite of the game ball.
I don't have one. I will say that when Deadpool was interviewing to be into the Avengers, I also thought that was a really cool conversation.
That was
Yes.
awesome. All that works. Cody, who's your loser of the movie?
Okay, so we got to this point. So,
Oh, is this going to be elaborate?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm going to briefly go over this. No questions asked. So
Make sure I'm
no
comfortable
interaction.
here.
Okay.
Let me make sure I'm
so,
comfortable.
Doctor Who, David Tennant's run. He had the longest run up to that point of being the Doctor. His goodbye was like him after he lost 2 companions, can never visit them again as the Doctor because it would mess up a whole bunch of things. He says, as he's all by himself and he's dying, he's like, I don't want to leave this place. Like, it's dramatic. There's tears. Everyone who watched it had tears. And then he came back for the 50th special, 50th anniversary. There's like 3 doctors there. It's a big deal. And he says the same line, but he says it with like a happy face. And it's affecting, but it's not the same. And since we have seen him since, and he's been reintroduced again since, it's like, okay, it takes away from that original ending. Fans of Logan, especially the sacrifice of Wolverine, you lost a little nostalgia. It's no fault to Hugh Jackman. I feel compassion for Hugh Jackman in this one because he said, I'm done. I don't want to, I'm done with Wolverine, except I've always wanted to be in the MCU.
Yeah, he wished he could be in the MCU.
He wants to be an Avenger, and I get it. His is more a noble quest than RDJ's.
We're moving into Robert Downey Jr. slander territory.
So I feel bad for Hugh, but it did take away from the stakes of Logan. Because Logan was supposed to be the last time I saw Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. He's back. And I would have been good if we had Henry Cavill as all the variants of Wolverine.
Yeah, I really thought they would do more actors as variants. It was weird to me to see Hugh Jackman as all the Wolverines. I thought
Except for one.
Especially contrasting with all the different Deadpools.
Yeah.
There's so many different Deadpools.
I mean, literally, Ryan Reynolds' wife, Blake Lively, was a Deadpool.
So who was the loser? Are you saying Robert Downey Jr.?
No, I'm saying
fans of Logan.
Fans of Logan.
Okay.
Fans of Logan are the ones that lost out a little bit here.
I think it's fair, and I'm actually similar because my loser of the movie is fans of the Loki series. Because you just used the TVA and you used the story. Listen, the most operative parts of the story, you basically just borrowed from someone else's writing. The Loki show, The Void, Eliath, it's all Loki. And then you completely disconnected it from Loki. Again, that comes back to connection. Why is there no connection? We're dabbling in not just the same universe, but in the same story as the Loki series. And yet there's nothing. Why isn't Owen Wilson in this movie at all? How come he never shows up? You couldn't afford to get him there one day to shoot for an hour?
You couldn't have done a weird glimpse of Loki holding the 9 realms together.
You know who you don't have to schedule to make an appearance? Miss Minutes. Why is Miss Minutes not in this movie at all? Final question. Is the MCU back? We've been dancing around this.
You just said that you can say that.
So, yeah, I'm going to withhold judgment until after this next Captain America.
We keep saying that, don't we?
No.
Yeah.
I knew.
No,
you
I'm
could,
not bagging on
Yeah.
you. I'm saying that's what we keep kicking the can down the road.
Like, I couldn't ever say it after a Deadpool movie.
Right.
So I need to see, is the storytelling going to be up to par? Because I wasn't expecting storytelling from Deadpool. Is the storytelling going to be up to par with Captain America? Or are we just done with good stories and we're just going for the cheap thrills?
Yeah.
America.
A lot of people are saying the MCU is back, DJ. What do you think?
I don't think you can use it on this movie. I think we needed to feel good.
Yeah.
We just needed to feel good.
Yep. And it does.
And
it
I'm
works.
sorry. It was short term. Sorry it didn't meet the whatever. We just need to feel good.
Yeah, no. Don't get me wrong. It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie, and it is. It's a Deadpool movie, which is all we should have expected. Mm-hmm. And in that way, I think they executed it well. But everyone out there is saying the MCU is back. And I think you're right, Cody. Is like, whoa, easy there. Because the next 2 movies, the ones they didn't have a lot to say and wouldn't show us footage of unless we were in Hall H, Captain America and the Thunderbolts movie, those movies are remnants of like Phase 5 still, where they were struggling with the writing, and they've gone through, like, Thunderbolts has been rewritten like 12 times, I think. It's crazy.
And it's such a fringe property to go in on still.
They're not named the Thunderbolts because of General, now President Thunderbolt Ross. So how's that going to work? Change the name of your movie.
Don't you? Well, I think they feel like to tell the story in a way that you have to go the fringe. You've lost rewriting this thing from a core situation. You've blown it.
Honestly, I think they should Batgirl these movies like Warner Brothers did. I don't think they should have moved forward with them. And I know what the reasoning is well, we've already spent all this money on them. But
tax write-off.
If they're going to not be good, then why put them out? Yeah, that's my only thing. So I don't know. But how many dog pools out of 10 are you giving Deadpool and Wolverine, DJ? How many out of 10?
So because of if I compare it to the ones in the past, right, it's like a 9. Yeah. But just standing alone, like how we talked about, it's like a 6.5.
Yeah, we do that all the time. We do double scales. Yeah. Cody, how many dog pools out of 10?
Okay, so I'm going to use my Deadpool scale and my regular scale to be the same on this one.
Okay.
It's both 6s. Because I thought there was a step back from Deadpool 1 and 2.
Okay. I think that's fair. And I agree slightly with that. I'm going to give it a 7. I just thought it was fun. I thought it was a good, fun movie. And even though I have issues, just like I did with, if you go back and listen to the Multiverse of Madness review, I said the same thing. It was a fun movie, but at the end of the day, I'm not quite fully satisfied because I'm looking for something else too. But Deadpool fans, if you're just a Deadpool fan, you got exactly what was advertised.
Absolutely.
You got the whole enchilada.
The whole chimichanga, as Wade Wilson would say.
Exactly.
All right. What did you think of Deadpool and Wolverine? Do you agree? Do you disagree with some of our takes? You probably do, especially with Cody. let us know.
It's not me this time. This is so awesome.
Let us know in the comments on the social media post for this episode. And of course, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. We love you guys. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.